two cases. What are we going to do on these two?
The evading will, yes, will be a MTRP 6 month state jail. And the burglary will be dismissed for us to use a window. That will be paid for, that will be dismissed. The burglary 2019 case.
Yes, Your Honor. What happened with that is it was the burglary was actually prior to the defendant being placed on probation. There was a fingerprint that was found, entered into APHIS. Nothing, there was no hit. It was then re-entered in 2023, and there was a hit, and that's when they indicted it the following month. There was a window broken. I believe the defendant lived with the complainant's daughter there at the house at the time. There was nothing that was actually taken that they could describe or that they knew of.
Okay. Since the complainant was contacted and does not know Aaron Burleson and wanted to prosecute her.
Well, Your Honor,
How could that be if they're
that's
a romantic relationship?
the individual that was living in the house was her daughter, and she was in jail at the time. The complainant was not living at the house. She was actually just had care, custody, and control of it. She lived at her own residence.
Who was the complainant?
That was her mother, Martha Washington. The
mother didn't know who she was dating or who she was living with.
no, sir, I don't believe she
really,
did.
this doesn't make any sense. So what's the plan here?
It was
A lot of this doesn't make sense from my standpoint, but it moves. We got to move forward one way or the other. So what are we going to do?
was we agreed to 6 months state jail on the
Okay, so we've got a motion to revoke. She's
Yes,
on
sir.
my probation. Didn't report
Yes, sir.
his arrest, failed to provide verification, perform community service hours, failed to report to the Harris County in person on those dates. And that's what does that mean? Harris County, the Harris County Probation Office, where we had courtesy supervision, all of those dates. Okay. And then failed to report to Jefferson County by mail. Oh, no, we're not going to 6 month it. It's going to be more than that. What do we have? What does he have in credit for time on Mr. Burleson? Please figure it out.
And Your Honor, he has completed community service.
It's not, when you're on probation, you're supposed to be on probation, which means you got to report. And when you don't report, you're not on probation. I mean, that's, if you can't do anything else, you have to report. If you can't do anything else, reporting is the most important thing, or else there is no supervision. You're on your own supervision, which is, you're not the kind of person who can supervise yourself, access anybody else.
30 days total.
Yeah, you got a ways to go. What do y'all want to do on this?
Would the court entertain 9 months, a year?
We've got. What's his criminal history? Here in Jefferson. But then he's been living. Yeah, he lived in Beaumont. No, we've got a misdemeanor anyway, or two. Do you know?
They were dismissed. The case was out of Harris County. Yes, sir.
We've got. Do you have a pre-sentence report? By any chance? maybe we get a posting. Here you are, Your Honor. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I remember the fact. One thing I can do is I remember the facts of cases, but if you told me who the name was, but the facts, it's like a story. You remember a story because every story is unique here in this one. So they go Longfellow Apartments, and to check on black male and a black female fighting in the parking lot near the Gladys entrance, which is the Longfellow Apartments there, major, large set of apartments. The man was identified as the defendant, and it had been advised to the police that he had a gun in his pocket. Upon checking the front area of that complex, he was located near the stairwell of apartment 14. He was told to keep his hands up and to walk down the stairwell. He began to run instead down the stairs and eastbound. Officers pursued him, commanded him to stop running, announced themselves as Beaumont police. As he approached Longfellow Drive, he was seen throwing a gun, which was later found as a firearm, black in color, from his pants, then continued to evade eastbound, running across Interstate 10, where he was finally apprehended. And it was a Glock 40 caliber handgun with an extended magazine that he had discarded. So he was booked in, and it's not as though he didn't know any better, because he had previously been convicted of evading arrest or detention in 2014 in County Court of Law number 3. Looks like he got 90 days. It was regular probation in that one. It looks like 90 days in jail, probated for 1 year. He also was sentenced to 90 days in jail, probated for 1 year for illegal possession of drugs. And then in 2019, 15 days in jail for possession of drugs. Well, and then he's got this one here. Let's see. Let me see. Thank you very much. So here we are. And in allegations, the things, he was arrested on March 17th of 2023 and failed to report that to the probation office, but we find out about it generally. So that's not as much a concern to me. It's failing to report to Harris County, because I cut you some slack to allow you for your courtesy supervision where you decided you wanted to live, because you were living on Algae in Beaumont when you were indicted. So we granted that to another county. So it's showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 times he failed to report in Harris County as he was supposed to, and failed to report Jefferson County by mail for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. I mean, he's just free falling. He's on his own. He wasn't even part of supervision. He decides, obviously, this is on his terms. So no, that's the minimum. That's just. You're given a pretty minimal sentence on deferred probation to begin with, so, and then you thought you really treated this as a joke. You weren't serious about this. It didn't take you long before, let's see. You were placed on probation in May of 22. The next month, you stopped reporting. You didn't report at all, literally. Yeah, and in both counties, Jefferson and Jefferson by mail and Harris County. I mean, when was he finally arrested? Do we have? Ellie, does it show when he was arrested?
He was finally arrested on November the 6th of 23, Pennsylvania.
Where?
Pennsylvania.
Who told you could go to Pennsylvania on my watch?
But
Nobody, right? It was your decision. You're supposed to have my permission. Okay. Okay. So he must have posted a bond or something, huh? To get,
We had a hearing.
and he posted a
And posted a
bond.
bond.
He's been out.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, well, what are we going to do today?
We're willing to, he's still ready to take responsibility with the court would accept or deem appropriate.
All right. But this is the kind of behavior that this is, well, I've said it 100 times. If you can't do anything on it, you got to report or else you're not on probation. And what's good for you is good for 5,000 of the probationers. We have 5,000 people on probation. And all they've got to do is go, I want Aaron Burleson rule. You cut him some slack. And we're not going to report either, but when you get catches, we want to assert the Aaron Burleson card because you treated him lightly. Well, no, if nothing else, you got to report or else you're not on probation. It's a joke. And we've got a probation office that's serious, that 90% of the people are successful. And it's a shame that you're not. Because we take pride in that. The average is 75% national average. So we hate to lose any of our lambs, amble off. We want success for everybody. But and you've been through this before on an evading arrest before, and they treat it seriously. And anyway. So what do you want to do? I've got a trial I got to go into. But if y'all can't do it right now, he's going in. I'm revoking his bond.
Yes, sir. Will the court accept 1 year?
Yeah. If that's what y'all can agree on, but it's his free will. He has a right to a hearing on this. And
Could I talk with him and his father?
Yes,
real
ma'am.
quick?
Dennis, can you tell the jury we're going to need about 15 more minutes, please? Thank you. Yeah, what do you have?
yes, sir. Once he pays, if we could reset it for maybe 2 weeks, I believe on Friday, they're going to come and pay the restitution and then I'll dismiss it at that. I'll set
The burglary.
the burglary case. Yes, sir.
Okay.
The
There's a
MTRP is one he's pleading.
Yes,
And-
sir.
21-36765 is called Aaron Burleson. There's a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. Mr. Burleson is present with his attorney, Ms. Holmes, and the state's attorney does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke probation
Yes,
filed
sir.
on April of 23. Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Listen.
Lower your. In summary, this motion states that on May 5th, 2022, in this court, you were placed on 5 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for evading detention with a previous conviction of evading detention. Is all of that true?
Yes.
Allegation 1, and you were placed on deferred probation for 5 years. Allegation 4 states you failed to immediately report to the probation office your arrest on March 17th, 2023 in violation of your probation order. Is that true or untrue? 6, you failed to provide verification of performing community service hours as required. And I want to know, did you perform community service hours? Okay, that's what's important. That's what's important. 7, you failed to report to Harris County in person on several dates: June 24th, August 29th, September 12th, September 29th, October 14th, November 18th, 2022, and January 13th, 2023, in violation of your probation order in that courtesy supervision that I allowed you to have in Harris County. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And finally, you failed to report by mail here for Jefferson County that you were obligated to do for June, July, August, November, December of 2022, January and February of 2023 in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So are you pleading true to allegations 4, 7, and 8 of this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because those allegations are true as they are alleged?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
By a knowing and voluntary plea of true to 1 or more violations of probation, that's enough to grant the motion to revoke probation, and your probation can be revoked. You can now be found guilty and sentenced. This was a state jail felony.
Yes.
No less than 180 days, up to 2 years in the state jail. Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today?
Yes.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. I can open this thing. There's an agreement that's been reached by the parties.
And that one still has the 6 months, Your Honor, if you could write it in, please, or.
We're going to write in 9 months.
That would be great.
That's 9 months.
Yes.
sir.
You deserve more than the minimum. I know you're capable of doing better. That's what frustrates me and disappoints me. I think we all know that. But you got to run through the tape. I mean, you can't just stand at the, at the starting line and then the gun goes off and everybody runs and then you go pick up a trophy. You got to win the race that we all have to run.
Because
There's an agreement that's been reached where your probation would be revoked. You would be found guilty, sentenced to 9 months in the state jail. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Let me show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. We're going to ask you, did you sign that document, understand it, discuss it with your attorney? Are the contents true and correct?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence.
No objection.
Without objection admitted. This states if I follow your agreement here that I'm going to do, you have no right of appeal.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to follow this agreement. State's Exhibit 1 is part of the record for all purposes. Anything else to add? I'm going to find that there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence related. As allegations 4, 7, and 8 have been proven true beyond a reasonable doubt, much less a preponderance of the evidence, which is what is required for motions to revoke probation. Thus, this motion is granted. Your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of that underlying offense of evading detention with a previous conviction of state jail felony. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in state jail for 9 months. Do you understand what has happened today, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when y'all get this motion to dismiss before the court, I'll sign that
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
on 24/59.
Okay.
That is all on the case. Thank you.
In that case.
I'll meet her with that.